What's up everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we are going to be talking about another absolutely stunning philodendron called as the Philodendron golden Melinonii. So this is a very beautiful philodendron. Remember, as I said, I was a little bit confused with two different varieties of philodendron. So I have it over here. I will show you two in some time. But before that, let's talk about this beautiful plant. Now this is a self header. I have got in a lot of philodendrons that are self headers. I really love them. Of course, I also have philodendrons that are climbers and crawlers, but my favorite are self headers because they tend to grow really wide and bushy in the pot. Now this is relatively a very young plant. Let's start off with the light. They prefer a good amount of indirect bright light, avoid direct sunlight. Probably early morning 9 a.m. direct sunlight is okay, which is very mild, but avoid afternoon direct sunlight. Otherwise the leaves will get bleached and they will also tend to get burnt. Now the soil mix that I've used over here is loose, porous and well draining, yet which retains a slight amount of moisture. So it contains coco peat, garden soil and sand. Coco peat to retain that slight amount of moisture. Garden soil will give the basic nutrients and minerals, and sand is going to make the soil mix well draining. So it is a very good mix that I have been using for all of my plants, foliage plants, flowering plants, and it tends to work out really well. Talking about watering, whenever you see around 1 inch of the upper layer of soil is dry, go ahead and do a complete watering, that is until the water starts passing through the drain hole. Do not keep them underwatered, otherwise the leaves will start getting droopy. And if you're going to keep them underwatered excessively, then they will have brown tips, crisping of the edges, and they will start getting yellow leaves. So be extremely careful. These are not drought tolerant plant. They are tropical plants. So they prefer warm, humid environment with a slight amount of moisture in the soil. Temperature anywhere between 15 degrees Celsius all the way up to 35-36 degrees Celsius tends to work out really well. They will do well in average humidity as well. That's not much of an issue. Now if you're growing them outdoor and you are from a very dry environment, then misting is one of a good option. You can club a lot of plants together. That increases the humidity. Pest issues, they do not have a lot of issues with pest apart from spider mites, which rarely happens to attack this plant. Always turn the leaves and check, because this is where they tend to attack the plant, and you'll start noticing a lot of spots on the upper surface. They tend to attack the abaxil of the leaf. So always do a routine check once in 2 or once in 3 weeks, and if you notice anything, then use the neem oil spray. That tends to take care of any kind of pest issues. Talking about, is this plant toxic? Yes, these plants are toxic, especially if the leaves, if they're ingested. So ensure you're keeping this plant away from the reach of small children and pets. Now, as I said, these are self headers, as in when they start to grow, you can see they will start getting nodes. I think in this, I'm able to give you a much better example of how the node tends to look like. You can see this. So all you have to do is just go ahead and do a cutting couple of centimeters below the node area. I'll put up the image on the right hand side so you'll get a fair idea. So this is the cataphyll, and you can see these are the aerial roots. This is the node. So just a little bit below that you have to do the cutting in order to propagate them. So it's very easy to propagate philodendrons, and then either you can keep them in water to get some more roots, or you can put them directly into the soil. The soil mix remains the same, what I have just mentioned before. You can use the same type of soil mix. Talking about fertilizers, as I said, these are tropical plants. They prefer warmer environment or warmer season. So summer is the best time to add fertilizers because that is their growing season. During winters, they don't go into a complete dormancy, but they tend to slow down their growth. So please don't use any fertilizers during the winters. You can go with compost or seaweed liquid fertilizer or any organic fertilizer. You can use that once a month. These are not heavy feeders, so once a month is more than enough. This one is a very small plant as of now, so that's why it is in a small pot. And remember, as I said, I was confused this plant with another plant. I will share it with you guys. I have made the video before, and that is the Philodendron lemon lime. You can see they look very similar to each other. The leaves are, I wouldn't say they are very similar, but you can see those ridges on the leaves. They look very similar. The lemon lime tends to have this very light yellow color. whereas the golden Melinonii tends to have more of a lime green color, whereas these are more on the yellow side. Looks very similar, but this one is a climber. You can see it is already starting to grow vertically. I'll have to use a pole very soon. The new leaves tend to look absolutely stunning on the lemon lime. I will also put up the other name that it is called. I think it's called as the Celion Gold. I think I'll put up the name on the screen. I don't think I'm pronouncing that correct. So this tends to grow vertically, and this is a self header. But I've seen some people, they also tend to grow crawlers or self headers on poles as well, and a lot of times they do climb. I've even seen crawlers being put up on the pole and they start climbing up. I think it all depends upon how you plan to grow. A lot of people say never let a crawler climb onto the pole, but there are some people who tend to grow it, because I'd seen some videos on YouTube wherein they had put up some of their crawlers on the pole, and it has been doing quite well. But so far I don't think this would require any pole, whereas the lemon lime, I will definitely make a pole for it very soon, because it's already starting to turn vertical. This is the new leaf. This was the last leaf that came up. You can see it's yellowish in color. The older leaves are much darker green in color. So that's about it. I hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, please hit the like button, and if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep planting.